Hi, this is Bird from Bird's SVGs, and in this video I'll be showing you how I put the Rattle Shaker card together. There's also a Rattle Shaker gift tag in the collection, and you can find that in another video. I've put that together as well. But in this video we'll be working on the card and the coordinating envelope. So first of all, I'm popping the insert into my card. It adds some strength to your card, and it means you can cut your card from coloured paper. And then we're going to work on our shaker element, and the very first bit I want to do is add my acetate onto my front layer of my shaker, well, of my rattle, the decorative layer, which is the very front layer. So I'm just going to glue my acetate onto the back of that. Because the acetate is non-porous, the glue takes a while to dry, so I want that to be the first thing that I do, because that'll be the last bit to be glued into place, and then I'll set it aside and let it dry a little bit. Okay, now for the rattle itself, you have a base piece, and then you have these four kind of pieces that are the head of the rattle, and this forms the walls of your shaker element. So you glue these four pieces on top of each other, and then once you've done that, you can then glue them on top of the rattle itself, and then that gives you 5 layers of card to be the kind of container for your shaker elements. I'm using normal cup sequins today, and I found that there was plenty of room in there for those. Okay, so now I have got that together, I'm going to glue it onto quite a large kind of shadow piece that it sits on, and then that will give you, when you put that onto your card base, that will give you the alignment for where everything goes then. So you just want to glue this just central to that piece. You know, by eye, just, you know, if you're happy. Some of my glue actually oozed out because I'm using some pearlescent card, and you have kind of the same problem as you do with acetate really. It's not terribly porous and the glue can kind of spread a little bit. So I was just removing some excess glue there. Okay, now if you look at this piece, on one side there, the 2 of the bumps have been kind of squared off. Now they go flush with the bottom of the card, and when you've got those in place, everything else will be in the right place. Everything else will be lined up. And then the next piece to work on is we have a kind of 3-dimensional bow, so it comes in 4 layers, and we'll layer that up and put that on the rattle, and that kind of balances up the fact that the head of the rattle is quite dimensional. So you want to start from your largest piece on your bow, and you want to keep adding the pieces on top, getting smaller each time. So I'm just sliding each piece into place. Luckily with wet glue we've got a little bit of wiggle room time. And then once I've got all of my layers put together, then I'll add it to my rattle, and then I just need to add a little bit of glue, pop that into place. And you can see on the rattle where the actual bow goes. And once I'm happy that I have that in place, then I can add my shaker elements into my shaker compartment there. I used cup sequins, but you could use seed beads or micro beads, or maybe even a chunky glitter. I used a couple of colours. I used to add too much to my shaker cards, but I've come to realise over time that less is more. So I've tried not to add too much this time, and it gives a much better shaker effect. You know, you can really see them moving around in there. So I'm adding some glue now onto the back of my acetate piece here. I'm trying not to add too much glue because I know that with acetate the glue spreads far and wide, but I still did add too much. So I'm just trying to pat that into place, not to add too much force to squish the glue out. And that's the card done. So you have a coordinating envelope to go with your card. And what I did was I took the, I'm enjoying shaking that, I took the bow design and I put that onto the flap of my envelope. But of course, if you are sending your envelope through the mail and you're worried that that detail might get caught in the machines at the post office, in your download there is a plain envelope. So just look in the plain envelope folder and look for the Rattle Shaker Card envelope, and that'll be in there. So the choice is yours. So I've just glued my envelope closed and I'm just popping my liner in. I'm trying to pay attention to how much room I've got around the edge of the liner to make sure that I don't put glue too close to the edge of the envelope. But instead of putting the glue on the liner like I normally do, I'm also adding some glue around that element on my flap there. Just dotting it around, making sure I don't put too much on there or it will ooze through the gaps. Just putting some pressure on, making sure that the glue takes hold, and then that's the envelope done. And you see whatever colour you put inside as your liner is then the colour of the bow. And remember, there's also the Rattle Shaker gift tag that coordinates with this card, and you can see the assembly of that in another video.